Hello, this is Heidi with Wild Velvet Wellness, and I'm here with my good friend Sarah Jacobs with Crystal Connections Magazine and Bridging the Journey in Fargo, North Dakota. And this is video one of our Empath 911 class. In this video, we're going to go over what an empath is, what are some of the gifts of being an empath, and what some of the challenges of being an empath are. Hello, Sarah.
Hey Heidi, I'm ready to get into this, our little video series for this event. So let's do it.
Yeah, let's dive right in. Okay, so first off, what is an empath?
An empath is generally a person that is sensitive to the emotions of other people or the energies around them, and it's the best way to describe it is you're a highly sensitive person. So if somebody has ever said to you, you're too sensitive, why are you so sensitive? You're probably an empath. Or if you find yourself really getting involved in movies and television and the characters and you feel like you're there with them and you're going through what they're going through, you're probably an empath. And yeah, I think, but the short answer is you're a highly sensitive person to emotions and energy.
So would you say that an empath is a person who might attract other people who right away want to confide in them and tell them their troubles and their life stories because they're such good listeners and they also are open?
Yeah, oh, definitely. That's another trait of an empath. When I was in a store one time and somebody was asking me to help him find something on the shelf, and my sister walked up and asked what I was doing, and I just told her, oh, you just need some help. And she said, you have been like that your entire life. People walk up to you, even when you were a kid, they would just start talking to you. And I'm like, and that's true. People they feel safe talking to me or confiding in me and just, yeah, they feel safe. If you have this happening to you, you're probably an empath.
That is hilarious. I have actually assisted people in Walmart before finding their stuff.
All the time. Yeah, all the time.
That's hilarious. And also, that was one of my challenges as, a young person is people would confide in me and I wouldn't know what to do with it. And after a while, it would just get so heavy.
Right. Yeah. And definitely as a challenge of an empath is letting go of that. And we'll get into that later, but definitely.
Awesome. Okay. So what are some of the gifts of being an empath?
I think some of the gifts are, all of your senses are more attuned. So you can be more intuitive. You can have those gut feelings more so than other people. But also, as an empath, sometimes we just like to touch things a lot. And I'm very tactile. And what else? You know when somebody's lying. So it's not always just like your mother's intuition. You just kind of know. Or you just have that gut feeling when something is maybe a little off, or something just you shouldn't do something. It's not always just the voice in your head. It's, it's just that gut feeling that's guiding you. And you could probably be alone. And sometimes you do need to be alone. You're not too codependent on people. You need your alone time. Empaths tend to be more curious, more creative. When you're more curious, you're more creative. You can think outside of the box. You're a natural healer. People tend to just feel better around you. If people have said that to you, like, I just feel better when I'm with you, or I feel better now that I've talked to you, you're probably an empath. But also, you can pick up on people's body language better. You can just kind of feel when things are getting kind of awkward or when you should skedaddle. And finally, I would say one of the major gifts is that you're able to manifest better. Because when you manifest, the trick is to tuning in to the energy and the feeling and of what it is that you want and how you'll feel when you get it. And because you're more sensitive to emotions and energy, you can embody that much better than somebody that's, not aware of their empathic abilities.
I love that. Would you say being a manifester is your favorite gift of being an empath?
I'm a pretty good manifester. I'll give you that much, but it's usually like the simple things, like, oh, I need $5, and there's $5. I'm still waiting for that $1 million.
You haven't won the jackpot yet?
Yeah, I haven't won that lottery yet. And also I think one of my favorites is, I think it's being able to empathize and sympathize with people, because I am a metaphysical healer and I can feel what they're feeling. So that makes me a better healer too. But I also, I think it just deepens your connection with people, and it just deepens your connection as a human. What would you say yours is?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. That's my favorite. For me, it makes me a natural born caregiver. I know what people need without them even having to tell me. And it really does assist me in my healing work and with my children and things like that. It's a nice gift to have. It really is. So since we went over the gifts, what are some of the challenges of being an empath?
I would say, first of all, you have to take time out to recharge your energy, because you are giving, and there's nothing wrong with giving, but you have to be aware of when it's time to cut that off and recharge your batteries and be alone. So you need to know your limits. How much can you take on? How much responsibility? How much are you saying yes? And when should you say no? And when should you delegate? So you have to be very aware. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but I feel like being an empath, to go from thriving to striving to thriving, you need to have a hyper self-awareness. So that's what I'm going to kind of talk about in these challenges a little bit. I've heard once somebody say that no is a complete sentence, so you have to know when to say no and be okay with saying no. One of my favorite ways, I'm probably giving away my secret now, but if I can't do something, sometimes I'll say I'm unable to do that. And most people are fine with that answer. Like, I'm unable to attend, or I'm unable to do that tonight. And that's totally fine. That's your prerogative. You can say no that way. You have to maintain your boundaries. Don't be giving away, all your kindness to everybody. It's okay to be discerning. You should be discerning in every area of your life. You don't have to just give. Maintain your energetic boundaries. We'll talk about that in the later videos, and just it's more of an attitude of keeping people from sucking your energy. It's okay to emotionally detach. It's especially in this day and age of Facebook, we're just bombarded with news and memes and everything. It's okay to see things and not get emotionally involved in what's happening, especially if you can't do anything. So, which segues into don't be a martyr and don't be a victim. Don't take on everything and try to, think that that's your lot in life, is to take on the world's strife. It's not. Like, knock it off. What else? You have to allow other people to learn their own lessons. As an empath, or as just a parent or a good friend, you want to just help people and take away what they're feeling or their hurt. But that's up to them. You have to allow people to have their journey, and then honor your own journey as well. What else? Don't follow the crowd. You can do your own thing. Like, you can make your own decisions, and you can stand up instead of being like, well, I don't know, what do you want to do? Make a decision. Choose what you want to do. And lastly, I would say, we're going to get into this as well later, but just cutting your cords. Most people don't even know that they're holding on to people's stuff, and they're just holding on to all that energy, and it just kind of piles up on them. And then what do you do with it? Well, we'll talk about that later. How about you? What are some of the drawbacks, or the challenges, I should say, that you've been experiencing?
Well, one of my biggest epiphanies in life, I think, was when I realized that taking on other people's energy I was doing it so strongly that I would put other people's preferences and needs above my own, because I could feel them as if they were my own. And I got to a point in life where things weren't working, and I realized I needed to take care of my own needs first, and then worry about everyone else, even though their needs felt like my needs. Does that make any sense?
That totally makes sense. Yeah, sometimes you don't know where you end and they begin.
Yeah.
You have to maintain your sovereignty.
Right, and I am such an open, empathic person. I actually my ears will burn like I'm having allergic reaction when someone is angry at me. I usually will find out hours later, days later, who it was that was angry at me, but I know I'm in trouble when my ears are burning. Which is really funny because that's like an old-fashioned saying that my mom uses is like, oh, we were just talking about you. Were your ears burning? And turns out it's a real thing.
Yeah, and actually that's a really good point that made me think of. Sometimes I'll just be sitting in my apartment and all of a sudden I'll feel irritated and I won't know why. So empaths can feel the energy of just the collective unconscious. That's a bigger subject, but you can just feel what everybody else is feeling. If there's stuff going on in the world that's frustrating people, you could take that on and it's not yours. And we'll talk about that later, what to do with it. But yeah, you definitely need to just be aware of like, what's going on? Is this mine or is this not mine?
Right. Am I having an allergic reaction to these earrings or is somebody angry with me? But also, like, I've discovered over the years that I'm very sensitive to chemicals and like pharmaceuticals and household cleaners and different things like that. And so it's made me wonder, have you found that to be common in empaths, like other sensitivities, physical sensitivities?
Yeah, I definitely think that you can be more physically sensitive to chemicals or even clothing. So it's something also, if you're a parent, something to be aware of, because the children now, they are more sensitive. So they're sensitive to sugar, to cleaners, to their clothing. So as an adult, yes, if you're feeling kind of weird or something smells funny and you're just like, well, this didn't affect me before. Well, everybody in general is becoming more sensitive and more sensitive. So yes, it's definitely a thing.
Maybe the collective consciousness is evolving.
Finally, right?
Okay, so I think that's all we're going to go over for this first video. This is posted in the Facebook event page, and so just pay attention on that page, and you'll see the other things that we're going to post as well as other videos, and because that's where the class is being held. So thank you, Sarah, and we'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, well, hope everybody joins us for the next video, and we'll cover things like relationships and how to clear your energies in the next video. So, and don't forget to post your questions in the Facebook group or the Facebook event, and we'll answer your questions too. We'll talk about it. So we'll see you guys later.
Oh yeah, during the live class, we're both going to be answering questions and talking to anyone who wants to talk to us. So thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Heidi.